He's all out of love, he's so lost without it, but he knew he was right, believing for so long. This is the story of Anton. Like many youths, Anton and his best friend Ricky were unsure of their future goals, quickly giving up on the idea of work and choosing to travel the continent to find themselves. Anton in particular believed that this journey would one day also lead to a fated union with a woman he would spend the rest of his days with, and thus the long and winding adventure of this hopeless romanticist began, with their first stop being the royal capital of Laberle itself, Grand Selle. This was a time for celebration as Queen Alicia's birthday was nigh, and the hustle and bustle of the city was apparent to the young duo. It's not long before Anton's eyes are drawn to a woman going about her daily errands. This adoration quickly turns to an unhealthy obsession, and Anton tries to come up with an excuse to talk to her. Reading the final novel of the popular series Carnelia to give off an air of intelligence, he can't help but express his admiration for Marcia as she goes about her daily tasks, even drawing a group of visiting bracers into the mix to assist him. Finally plucking up the courage to approach the woman, he hands the book to the bracers and makes his move. Only, this meeting would not go as he hoped. His gaze was so strong, so intense that Marcia was also fully aware of Anton's presence. The situation had become so uncomfortable that she even enlisted the help of the same bracers that Anton confided his own musings to in order to escort her safely past. It doesn't take a disciple of Epstein to realise how this encounter ends. The rejection cuts deep for Anton. This would not be as simple as he first thought, but his loins and mind still yearned for his goddess, and soon after in the small town of Roland he stumbles upon a receptionist in the local Bracer Guild branch, and Anton's mind once again races with excitement. However, this desire alone would not be enough. He needed a way to talk to her, and what better way for him to do that than to ask for a client's consultancy over a casual drink, such is one of the roles of the Bracer Guild. But there was a minor problem hampering this plan. Anton was by no means a heavyweight drinker. He was more akin to a Genis Royal Academy first year on their Freshers' Week. Luckily, Adios was smiling on him this day, and the local bishop had a means by which the traveller could avoid the perils of liquor. By enlisting the help of the bracers once again, a medicine known as Diacet's Secret is made, and Anton feels that his opportunity is nigh. With a fellow ally of love by his side in Olivier Lenheim, he invites the guild receptionist Ina to the bar, confessing his love almost immediately. Naturally, this confession is bewildering for the woman as she believed she was merely here to offer a typical bracer service. But not content to leave the man hanging, she agrees to a drinking contest to decide the matter. Anton's trump card was now in play, and with Olivier by his side who had also taken some of the medicine, there was surely no way that he could lose. Unfortunately though, he underestimated a liver steeled by years of downed Steinrose, and his efforts all end for naught as his face claps the floorboards of the tavern. Soon after, Anton and Ricky make their way to the nearby trade capital of Crossbell, and memories of confetti rush back to Anton as the founding anniversary festival appears to be in full swing. In his haste to take in the sights though, he had misplaced a rather important item, his wallet which held all of his travel expenses. Ricky was happy to assist Anton in the meantime, but the hopeless bachelor finds himself close to giving up on his journey completely as the situation becomes more hopeless. Until someone notices his distress. A metaphorical pigtailed ray of light shines in front of Anton as a young woman assists him in finding his wallet, which he later finds out he has carelessly left under his bed back at Longlau Tavern. Without a hint of annoyance though, the woman named Fran expresses how happy she is that Anton has his problem sorted, and she disappears into the Crossbellan sunset. However, Anton cannot simply let this act of kindness go unreturned, and for the next 3 weeks he attempts to find her and thank her. Unlike last time though, the Bracer Guild are not willing to assist him, but fortunately, there is another group of young heroes who would make a fine substitute. Calling themselves the Special Support Section, Anton explains the situation as they arrive. To his delight, it appears that the sister of Fran is also present, surely tipping the scales in his favour. With their help, he is not only able to arrange a date with her in the restaurant Vang Sept, but is also granted the added bonus of buying her the perfect thank you gift. With the stage set, Anton is left by the SSS to work his magic, and all seems to be going well, until the crucial moment. Asking Fran if there is anyone special in her life, she happily responds that there is someone she loves with all her heart. Anton unfortunately had not prepared his crescent mirror, and the damage hits him hard, especially after seeing her smile and how content she appeared to be. How could Anton willingly try to ruin it for his own happiness? Defeated, he wishes Fran and the SSS well and makes his way back to Ricky, who suggests that they now move on to the Erebonian Empire. Shortly after, the two Liberl citizens find themselves in the beautiful city of Bereaheart, and Ricky attempts to get Anton's mind off of his recent heartbreak. Perplexingly, he actually manages to lose sight of his friend, who had let his mind veer to the attention of a butterfly nearby. This quickly turns into a full detour to the imposing Oryx Fort, where Anton now finds himself stranded without any hope of returning. So it's fortunate that his saviours are just around the corner, as a group of students known as Class 7 agree to escort him back. On their road home though, Anton feels a deep urge to let loose his frustrations of past rejection, screaming into the canyon and releasing all his negative energy. With his mind clear, they soon return to Bereaheart, with Anton thanking the students for their help. Little does Anton know though that this encounter would pave the way for arguably his most successful punt at love yet. As he and Ricky make their way to Thor's military academy for the famous cultural festival, Anton once again gets a case of the lost arts, and manages to lose his handkerchief. Fortunately for him, just as it was in Crossbell, a young lady offers him her aid, a striking maid that once again sets Anton's heart ablaze. In a cruel twist of fate though, the civil war breaks out shortly after, and Anton finds himself separated from not only her, but Ricky as well. Thankfully, this would not last long as they reunite in Rua, and with the war ending soon after, he and Ricky once again return to Trista. It's here where Anton has a fated reunion with the maid who showed him such kindness before, but now was not the time for cowardice. Now was the time to push forward relentlessly and thank her properly. To do this, he enlists the help of the same Class 7 who helps him back in Bereaheart, who just so happened to know the maid called Sharon. Just as with the SSS, the class assist Anton in picking out the perfect gift, and now he had everything prepared. To add to this, his past rejections had made him decidedly confident as well. He had the map in front of him to find Shangri-La, he simply had to execute it. Too bad then that a map to the promised land does not equal success. Though the date begins well enough, Anton's insecurity kicks in at the most critical moment as he shouts his confession right in Sharon's face. And this moment hurts the young man, as he now concludes that his long journey has not changed him at all, that he is still the same hopeless individual that left Liberl 2 years prior. However, though it appears to be a failure in the eyes of Anton and many others onlooking, the words actually resonate with the person that matters the most. Sharon expresses her gratitude to Anton in showing her the pure form that love can take, and though she can't return his feelings, she says she would welcome another tea date with him, and gives him a kiss on the cheek for good measure before departing to her duties. Anton had been rejected once again, but this didn't feel like any rejection he had had before. Rather, he could see the progress. He could see his development expressed through Sharon's kind words to him. It may not have been the perfect ending, but it was enough for him to push on. As Anton returns to his travels, he sends letters back and forth with Sharon, and for a time he feels content and happy. Until she suddenly begs him to forget about her, and cuts off contact completely a year and a half later. As the war to end all wars nears, Anton can't simply sit back and accept the final letter he received from Sharon. He had to find her. Returning with great difficulty to Erebonia, he eventually is invited to a celebratory night at Michelin Resorts by his old comrade in arms Olivier, who actually appeared to be a prince of Erebonia. It's there that he finds Sharon drinking with what appear to be her friends, though Anton can tell she is mildly distracted by something. Not long after, he musters the courage to approach her and they sit together on a bench overlooking the lake. Though the conversation starts innocently enough, it soon steers towards a more serious tone as Sharon reiterates that Anton should simply forget about someone whose history is as cold and dark as hers. And maybe in the past Anton would have forgotten her. Maybe he would have accepted her wish and left at that moment. But these past 4 years had changed him. Sharon herself had confirmed that to him back in Trista, and now it was time for him to repay her kindness. From the letter, he could tell she was carrying an immense burden, something that she had held nearly all her life. And because of her past, she believed she wasn't worthy of the happiness she had now seemingly found with Class 7 and the Reinford family. But Anton believed differently. Sharon's past does not define who she is now, it simply moulded her into the dependable person that everyone looks to. A person who can effortlessly make others smile, and Anton can say this from the heart because he's experienced it firsthand. These genuine words take Sharon by surprise, but they appear to have their desired effect. They allow her to regain confidence in herself, and the traveller from LaBelle had finally given true happiness to someone he cared about. Inviting him to sit down once again, the situation appears to come full circle, as Sharon asks Anton about his travels, which he is happy to reminisce about as they gaze out at the lantern-filled waters. Anton may not have found his fated partner yet, and it's possible he may never do so, but there's no doubt that his long journey has changed him and made him stronger. This never-ending adventure has taught him how to bring joy to others, to feel content in helping others. And if that is not true love, then what is?